Okay, hello! Lindsay Price here, resident playwright for Theater Folk. Hello, Facebook. Thank you for having my face in your feed. And it's Friday, and we have a giveaway. It is Friday giveaway here at Theater Folk, and I think you're going to like this giveaway. The description, the link is in the description, which I think is above. And it is a wonderful poster for your classroom, which I'm going to show you, and I'm going to go into detail about. It is an act well your part. It is great acting tips for your to have in your classroom, maybe for your beginning actors, to sort of give them some thinking points about acting. Great acting tips poster. The link is in the description. What are your best acting tips? What are the tips that you keep returning to time and time again with your own students? So it's Friday. It's here in the what are we? Eastern Daylight, Eastern Standard. Eastern time. It's heading into the end of the week. I just finished recording podcast intros. I know when I go out on the road and go to conferences and talk to folks, the podcast is one of the things that you guys mention. Our podcast setup is really, it's massively simple. It all comes down to a really good mic, right? Hang on, I'm going to show you. Boop. Right? Oh, wow, that's a real close-up on our mic. We've got a mic, we've got a mixer, and this is by far the most amazing, what is it? It's the Roland. It is amazing recorder. We used to do online programs. No. Online. We used to do it so that it was recorded online. And once we had lost podcasts, it happened, I think, it took us 3 times to lose podcasts before we decided that we were not doing that anymore, because there really is there's nothing more humiliating than having this really amazing conversation with someone, and then you have to go back and say, hey, remember that amazing conversation? We have to recreate it because we've lost it. Not anymore, not with the Roland. This has never failed us yet. And I'm going to knock on some wood. Okay, what's this? This is the amazing poster that you can download in the link above in the description, and you can put it in your classroom. This Friday giveaway, we're always giving away something on Friday just for you. So, what do you need to know? What do your students need to know before they step on stage, right? Oh, okay, that is hilarious. Hang on. Okay, I'm going to do this because I think that means you. I have to put in the password, and, you know, I love you all dearly, but I'm not going to show you the password to our computer. There we go. There we go. Okay, so we're starting with what is the most important step before stepping out on stage. Don't forget the audience. I find that this is really one of the things that I find with beginning actors is that they think that acting is something that happens with somebody else on stage, right? That they know that there's an audience out there, but they want that audience to just pay attention to them and give them applause, and that they don't often think about the audience as being their acting partner. And time again, I've seen scenes where actors they're face to face and they're having a moment with each other that the audience is completely left out of, that the audience is completely they're on the outside looking in, when what's really happening in a theater experience is that the audience is part of that experience. The audience is a player in the experience of what's happening on stage, and it is something that is really important to get beginning students to get into their head. That's why you always have to, cheat your body out. You always have to be in three quarter as opposed to profile, and that your communication as an actor involves the audience. This is the other one, act with the voice and the body. I see student actors all the time who they focus on what their character sounds like, because it's something that they can focus on. Okay, I've got lines, I've got to say my lines, and their body looks a lot like them, right? And this particularly happens when I see student actors who have characters who aren't human, right? A character like Puck in A Midsummer Night's Dream. I've seen a lot of teenage Pucks who they stand straight up and down. They jut their hip. They sit into one of their hips. They do human gestures, right? And that again, they think with their voice, and they don't think about what is their character's stance, what is their walk, what is their gesture. I have a really, really great ratio that was given to me by someone who I took an adjudication course with. And his ratio is that when it comes to audience understanding, it is 60% visual. When an audience is looking at what's going on stage and what they understand, it is 60% visual. It is 30% oral. It is 10% text. We are in an age of visual learning. What do we see? And if your students aren't putting 60% of their rehearsal time and 60% of their character development time into the body and what the character looks like, stands like, walks like, what kind of character do you want the audience to see, then there's not a full an experience as there could be. All right. And then pay attention to your voice. Yes. Now this is all the technique, right? So it's not just acting with the voice and the body as a character thing, right? But pay attention to your voice is all about technique. What's your diction? What's your articulation? Can we hear you? Right? Can we hear and understand what you're saying? If you're acting your heart out and we can't hear and understand what you're saying, it is pointless. And a great example of that is an emotional moment. Time and time again, I have seen students break down, cry, be very, very emotional in their portrayal of a impactful moment, but I couldn't understand a word. Right? It was all about the crying, and it was all about the emotion, and there was nothing in the way of making sure that the words were clear and understood. And that is a failed moment. That is a moment where you're not connecting to your audience. And it's all very well and good to have an emotional moment, but if you're not working towards communicating, and that means diction, articulation, and volume, there needs to be more. All right, I'm going on to, so what we're looking at here is the giveaway on our Friday giveaway here at Theatre Folk. This is a poster. The link is in the description. And these are acting tips. It's an acting tip poster. What are some tips to keep in mind before stepping out on stage? What are your best tips? What are the tips that you share time and time again with your students? So we've got, don't forget the audience, right? Think of the audience as your acting partner. Act with the voice and the body. Many student actors portray characters who have bodies just like them. Pay attention to your voice. This is the technical. What are you doing as an actor to make sure that you are heard, to make sure that you are understood? Stay in character. So this is a tip for when things go wrong on stage, as they always do. They always will. There was always, that's one of the, that's one of the fascinating things about going to the theater, is that you could be there on a day when something goes wrong, when somebody skips a line, or 3 pages of lines, or when somebody gets stage fright, and everybody on stage has to, deal with this moment where something doesn't go perfectly, because theater is alive and people are human, and it happens. But what actors, beginning actors, don't put in their heads sometimes is that to deal with the problem, they should stay in character, right? Is that whatever they're doing, whether it's working on the lines or, dealing with somebody who has frozen, if they break character and become themselves, that's the moment then the audience knows, oh, they screwed up. The audience doesn't have the script in front of them. The audience, in a lot of cases, doesn't know what the story is. The audience is just there for the ride. And part of the ride is staying in character. And it's easier, of course, to just break and just kind of like, just be yourself and just sort of like, talk to another actor like they're their actor. It's more work to stay in character. It's more work to try and figure out how you're going to get back in place while still, still staying in character. But we're talking about what's the audience experience. And if you're taking an audience along for the journey, breaking character is a way for everyone to remember, oh, that's right. We're just in a theater. We're just watching a show. Okay, and lastly, this is particularly with younger actors, right? You are never invisible. If you can see the audience, they can see you. Never assume you can goof off, squirm, or break character when you're not the focus of the scene. I know all of you have seen this, right? You're sitting in the audience, and the scene is going on downstage left, and upstage right, there's maybe an ensemble scene, and there's one character who is staring off into space. Maybe they're like, fixing a shoe. They look completely bored. They're yawning. They are not focused with what's going on. And because of that, they think that because the scene's not about them, that no one's paying attention to them. Someone's always paying attention. I am always paying attention to the ensemble members and the chorus members when they're not the focus of the scene. It's one of my favorite things to do is to see what they're doing, and I love it when we've got an ensemble that is fully committed to the world of the play, right? This is the same thing with staying in character. This is all about, theater's about creating a world, right? We're all in the dark, we're sitting watching a play, and if you are focused on creating a world, that audience experience is going to be amazing. And part of that is the times when you're not the focus, right? We can see you, and nothing irritates me more when we have actors goofing off on stage and really breaking the world of the play. Okay, so here we go. This is our download for a Friday giveaway. Lindsay Price here, resident playwright. I had to think about that for a second. For theater folk, act well your part. Great poster that you can download and print and put in your classroom. Don't forget the audience. Act with the voice and the body. Pay attention to your voice. That's all the technical stuff. Stay in character, and you are never invisible. All right, so that's Friday giveaway. it's after 5 o'clock. That means we're done for the day, right? This is my last task for today anyway. On Friday, please go and download that poster, put it in your classroom. What are your great tips? What are your go-to acting tips that you give to beginning actors? You know, throw them down in the comments. Otherwise, I will say, have a wonderful weekend. Hope your week was amazing. Or if not, there's always the weekend. Okay. Good night.